I currently have in my comment section a bunch of teenagers arguing over whether or not Pauline is that girl. This came from a TikTok that I posted where I just had this like harebrained idea. I've been wanting to categorize how girly pop and how diva the Mario universe like girls are, but I finally found this idea and it like clicked in my head where what if categorizing Mario and like the diva potential and diva resonance of Mario all sort of stems from the gravitational pull of Princess Peach, as if she's the sun in the center of like a solar system almost. One thing leads to another, and now there's like a real argument happening. Let's dig into this a little bit deeper, but before that, let's just like look at this comment thread real quick because I always find this really funny. Like, it's a privilege to be able to like have a platform on TikTok because you know that you're onto something when people start arguing over stuff that like doesn't even relate to the video. Daisy is not that girl. She's a social climber. Only thing keeping her up is her social status as Peach's cousin. Honestly, Pauline is not it. She's getting there, but I just feel like she can't compete with the likes of Daisy and Rosalina. She's the queen, sure, but she's not a diva. I would argue she's the most diva of them all. She's a model, a mayor, and most importantly, Captain Syrup would usurp the entire diva hierarchy if Nintendo had the gumption to bring her back. Successful female performer. Who fits this? Pauline, respect the OG. She has the credentials, but she does not have the aura. Credentials are nothing without the aura. Wait, so in the Sonic universe, would Amy take the place of the Central Diva? Pauline is the OG. She came before Peach, Daisy, Rosalina, Toad, Yoshi, Bowser, and Luigi. The cow from Moo Moo Meadows being playable in Mario Kart World is about to shake this orbit up.
Peach time.
Imagine Peach is the sun in her own solar system in the Mario universe. She is the center. The reason why I say Peach is the center of this is not because she's necessarily better than any of the other Mario girls that we're going to mention today, but because she is the definition of a Mario girl. She's the one who created the archetype. Yes, I can hear the clicking of the keys and the haptic keyboards like thumping against the screen. I know that Pauline came first, but really think about it. If you are able to understand and acknowledge that Pauline came first, then you can admit that Peach is a little bit more relevant. It's not saying that Pauline is worse, but who is really defining the Mario girl archetype in the Mario universe? It's Princess Peach. I think the reason why Peach does this so well is because she almost creates like a caricature of like femininity, of girly pop. It's like, it's camp. But let's talk about the definition of camp real quick because I just feel like that's important. I have it right here. Camp is an aesthetic and sensibility that regards something as appealing or amusing because of its heightened level of artifice, affectation, and exaggeration. She is very exaggerated. It's not necessarily making fun of femininity, it's using the elements of it to suspend us in an unreality that is fun and pleasant and joyful and funny.
I won't let you take Mama Peach away! Mama Peach? I'm your mama? Oh yeah? Aww.
We're not ever really laughing at Peach though, we're laughing with her. I mean, I'm speaking for myself personally. While Peach isn't necessarily my favorite Mario girl per se, I do like, when I'm playing as her, I do project a little bit onto her. I think she's kind of diva, I think she's kind of slay. Now, when we get to the outer rings, I feel as though each ring, no matter how close they are to Peach, they are an alter of Peach. They are an iteration of Peach. They create a spectrum of what the Mario girl is. They help to define how wide it is. And you'll find it is quite wide and it is quite
fascinating.
But obviously we can't just like go off of vibes alone. I can't just sit here and be like, Princess Peach is the diva because she is. No. Like we've already acknowledged together that Princess Peach is the most relevant Mario character. When you go to your grandmother and talk about Mario, she knows Peach, she might know Luigi if she has taste. But the thing that really got my brain spinning on this is The people on my stream know this, but months ago, I was talking about like, ooh, I'm gonna do like this dissection of every single Princess Peach look. I went onto the wiki to start like sort of planning this out. Oh my god, that's when it registered to me that Princess Peach is literally a character that is nearly like at least 30 years old. She came out in the 80s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. Almost like 40 years old, and she looks fantastic. I'm not saying that you look bad when you're 40, I'm just saying like whatever skincare regimen she's on has literally put the pause button on her pores. Looking on this high definition front camera on the iPhone, I need Peach's secret. I got overwhelmed with the amount of content that Princess Peach has in just photos, scans of manga that she's in. Did you know that she's in a manga? I'm gonna show a little bit of that because that's so iconic. I love that aesthetic. I would love if they brought that back for like an RPG, but I got overwhelmed. I put it on the back burner, and then I was thinking like, okay, what if we did like something where we just looked at the different Mario girls? That was also overwhelming. But one thing that I noticed through all of this like researched before I figured out the Peach orbit was, opposed to the other Mario girls, when you look at the gallery of Princess Peach versus the gallery of the other Mario girls, Princess Peach has so much content that it has to be sorted by decade before it's even sorted by like models, assets, video game official art. You go and look at Rosalina, there's no decades. It's just like assets, art, things like that. But for Princess Peach, she has in-depth, full-on, overwhelming amounts of content for each decade. That is why she is the definition of the Mario girl. That is why every Mario girl that comes after her is an alter of her, an iteration of her, a widening of her spectrum. Like, she is the mother of this house. So let's talk about the primary ring. And this is where I think everybody's really interested in, according to my TikTok comment section. I don't know, it's different on YouTube, but the primary ring, I think, is where people think like I'm defining who is like the mother tier. Actually, you know what? It really could be mother tier, but I digress. The three characters that I am comfortable putting into the primary ring at this point is Rosalina, Daisy, and Burdetta. Mario Kart World is coming out very soon. And I don't know about y'all, but anybody who's been like digging into the footage and some of the interviews and just the content that they've been putting out, honey, it's going to be a pageant. There's costumes on costumes on costumes. When they're doing tricks, they get different poses. All of the models are getting updated. They're giving us looks. They're really showing so much more personality for every single character in the main cast of Mario Kart World. I'm saying all that to say that the primary ring has a lot of potential to change, what with this new mainline console release game coming. But right now, Rosalina, Daisy, and Burdetta. The reason why I put these three here is because I feel like these three characters all have a distinct look from each other. They have enough relevance to be in direct orbit of her. And they also serve as like very strong anchor points of what the Mario girl is and how it starts becoming more diverse from there. You have Rosalina, who touches on like Y2K aesthetics, technology. Say what you want about Nintendo, but it's one of the most relevant entertainment systems in the global society. Like, everybody knows Nintendo products, and I always feel like Rosalina, what with her being like the Nintendo Wii princess and the color scheme that she has, she always comes off as like Y2K and very like tech relevant. Even though the Wii is a decade old at this point, it still serves as like that sort of technology optimism, the way that Nintendo continues to move forward with the times. Rosalina just always feels that way to me. On top of that, she has this very unique aesthetic outside of just like what she's contextually feeling like. Like, she's got this like really bright color scheme, this like bright pastel blue that just stands apart from the rest of the Mario girls. She has a really strong storyline that's helped to solidify her in the zeitgeist of the Mario conversation. Princess Daisy has the story of being like the original alternate Princess Peach. She was the original alternate princess that you could choose in like the original era of Mario Party and Mario Kart. and things like that. She has this really fun story of being like this underdog where we're always so excited to see just how strong of a spotlight Princess Daisy is going to get in the next game. And ever since Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, she's really been canonized as her own character. I mean, Princess Daisy is the reason why we have Princess Rosalina, is the reason why Pauline has gotten a re-debut, is the reason why other Mario girls get time to shine, because she's the character that the fans used as a message to Nintendo that we want more Mario girls. We want more than just Peach. We love Peach, but Daisy's there. Who else is there? Like, Daisy is the one that really opened the doors. Burdetta is an interesting one, but she is really, really relevant, especially on this side of the internet. Like, think about it. Any girls that you talk to who are Mario girls, who know Mario, who are gamers, we all know and respect and revere Burdetta because she's weird, she's quirky, she's queer. Like, she's very cultural in that. Like, Princess Daisy has a lot of publicity. Princess Rosalina was a main line in a very important Mario game, but Burdetta, she's just got that culture. Like, she's like the brat of the girls, you know? Burdetta also does this interesting thing where she's also opened doors for like the sort of monster girl, the creature, the sort of hybrid in this fantasy universe. Mario is a fantasy world. We have human-like characters. They have magical powers. They eat magical things. Well, I don't think they eat them, but like they sort of like hold on to like a flower or a mushroom and they get bigger, they get powers. It is fantasy, right? A common thing in fantasy, especially in Japanese fantasy, which Mario is there are like monster hybrids, creature hybrids, animal hybrids. Burdetta kind of opens the door for those kinds. I think it's even more so relevant now that we're seeing in Mario Kart World, like the monsters and like the background characters, the animals, are getting their time to shine as actual racers. I think the love of Burdetta has shown that we resonate with more than just the main humanoid cast. We want more of that, and I think Burdetta has contributed a lot to helping us send that message. So now that I'm saying this, I think it's important to acknowledge that each of these characters have kind of opened doors. Like, I would even say that Rosalina has opened doors for us to really start exploring different aesthetics within the Mario universe. I'm noticing in Mario Kart World, she's getting a lot of like Y2K, Tenshi Kaiwai kind of looks. She still has like her spacey stuff, but she's really experimenting with a lot of really cool, trendy, and relevant street fashion. Daisy generally opened the doors for Mario girls to be a thing, and Burdetta did a lot of work to create a way for us to experience and express ourselves in more than just the humanoid characters in the entirety of the Mario fantasy. Beyond that, these characters have a healthy amount of looks. Like, if we're talking about Diva, if we're talking about girly pop, you need to have a few looks. I think the one character that's a little bit weaker in this regard is Burdetta, but what with her being able to have different colors like Yoshi, and like each of her colors have shown that she has different bows and different eyeshadows, I do think that there is some density there. But Daisy really is the look queen of the primary orbit, and Rosalina is becoming more so. Obviously, Burdetta is getting a lot of looks coming up soon, but these characters in all, outside of Peach, who has the most looks, has kind of like the second most like cumulative looks. In the secondary orbit, we have Toadette, Pauline, Vivian, Wendy, and Roy. Now, the secondary orbit, in my opinion, is the most interesting one because this is where the diversity really starts to show. This is where we see potential for the Mario girls in the universe. This is where we see experimentation within the genre. It's not getting too far out where it doesn't feel girly pop anymore. It's still in the lane of girly pop, but this is where you see a lot of like newcomers and experimentation and new concepts. I want to start the discussion of this orbit with Toadette. Because I think Toadette is really pushing to be put into the gravitational pull of the primary orbit, and I have a big feeling that it's gonna happen in the next release. She represents the fact right now that the Peach orbit is not static. I think like those of you who are returning viewers know this, but for newer viewers, when we're talking about like girly pop and like diva and like these like sort of girly characters, we really think of them in a pageant sense, and that means that it's not static. Their relevance and the sort of importance and the tiers that they're put in isn't necessarily because of their power level. That's just one aspect of it. The way they're presented, the way the developers choose to present them, the things that get added into their story, into their lore, the things that might be removed, all of these things, in addition to how they're received by the audience, helps to tell where they are right now. Now, I think Peach is always going to be the sun. I think those in the primary orbit have a high chance to always be in the primary orbit, but the secondary orbit characters have a high chance to get into the primary orbit. It's just they need to push a little bit further. Toadette has been pushing, girl. Toadette has been in the background doing her thing for a very long time, and I think it's attributed to the fact that Toad is also pushing in his orbit. Now, Toad is a hybrid, but I'm trying not to get too far into that just yet. I would say that Toadette is kind of like the modern day Daisy. Those of you who are into Toadette know this. Like, we've been rooting for her for a very, very long time. And did you see the soft serve outfit in Mario Kart World? That's just one outfit that she's going to be getting amongst many. Lots of people love playing her in Mario Kart 8. Lots of people love playing her in Mario Party Jamboree. She even got her own like sort of special form of Peachette. And she's just right on the razor's edge of getting into Mother territory. She's just nearly there. I really think that like we're waiting for Mario Kart World to just put the stamp on it. Now let's talk about Pauline. Because this might be confusing for some people, because Pauline is one of like the princesses. She's not a princess, just like Rosalina isn't really like a princess, but she feels like the most closest alternate to Peach in this secondary orbit. You get what I'm saying? The reason why I would even say that she has a weaker pull to the primary orbit than Toadette does is because Pauline is essentially re-debuting. Pauline is reintroducing herself, and to me, even though I know she's like the original one, I feel like this Pauline that we know now is brand new. We don't have much content of modern Pauline. I think that what we do have is a solid concept, a solid presentation, but we need a little bit more. Like, even in the footage that they've been releasing for Mario Kart World, which is like her first super mainline game that she's going to be coming out in since Mario Odyssey, we've only ever seen like one new outfit as of recording right now. Obviously she's going to get more, but she hasn't had time to like saturate with some of the fans like Rosalina has, because Rosalina came out in like 2007. When did Pauline re-debut? 2016? Like, Pauline isn't even in Smash Brothers. You get what I'm saying? I do think that it's a slow burn. I mean, Nintendo isn't necessarily like the fastest when it comes to growing their characters. It's always a slow burn, and I think that's why so many of the characters hold weight in pop culture, is because they take their time to sort of like create an experience, create a concept, create a story with the fans and with the universe. But Pauline, I would say, is just like a little bit behind Toadette. The characters who I think are like solidly in the secondary orbit are Roy, Wendy, and Vivian. Wendy is just a solid girly pop. She's well in the genre, but she's in that sort of lane where she's not a main character, and she doesn't really do much other than like appear every now and then in a fun spin-off game. And you know, the girly pops really love her. Like, there's a lot of Wendy mains who always show up whenever I talk about Mario, saying like, hey, you need to give love to Wendy. I'm giving love to Wendy, but there's not much else love to give. She doesn't have a lot of content around her. She doesn't have a lot of conversations around her other than in like deep girly pop conversations. And I don't really see it ever getting larger than that. Roy is kind of the evidence of the experimentation that I'm talking about. You know, Roy with the name, you know, in girly pop spaces, he's kind of like the boy. But what I like about Roy is he's kind of giving like Butch Queen, you know? And that's what I'm talking about with like the experimentation. Unless you're like really digging into this genre of character and like digging into the Peach orbit, you might not notice this, but like Mario literally has a Butch Queen, like a canon Butch Queen. And I love that for Roy. And I also want to mention Vivian because I never really got to play her game. But in the conversation of Mario and Girly Pop and how Girly Pop or how Diva as Mario characters, Vivian is always, always, always mentioned. The reason she's in the secondary orbit is because she's another example of the utilization of Mario Girl as a trope in other games. I know that she's a very strong character. I know she has a lot of relevance to the people who've played the game. I know that she carries a lot of weight. She's an example of an effective use of Girly Pop in the Mario universe. In the outer orbit, we have the honorable mentions. I feel like the outer orbit is where we get hybrids, where we as Girly Pops can really acknowledge the serve, the concept, the character design, but we can't fully say that they are Girly Pop. Now, this is a little bit more vague, and I think this is where a lot of discussions could be happening, but for me, I'm solidly putting Yoshi, Toad, Waluigi, and Luigi in this orbit. Yoshi and Toad are kind of main cast. They really are. They have hybrid potential and like they're used by more than just Girly Pops. I feel like people who might be clicking on this video out of just pure curiosity and have gotten this far with pure confusion, those types of people are Toad players, are Yoshi players. It's like, you get the vibe, you get where I'm going with this, but this isn't your space. You're just kind of like observing out of curiosity or listening. I know people put me on in the background. And don't get me wrong, Toad has done a lot of Girly Pop stuff. Yoshi has definitely done a lot of Girly Pop stuff. I play Pink Yoshi all the time. But I will acknowledge that they aren't solidly within the primary orbital gravitational pull of Peach. Luigi is the same way. I always mention Pink Luigi. Pink Luigi this, Pink Luigi that. Pink Luigi is the Girly Pop version of Luigi, but Luigi is kind of like her own queen. Like, I would say that Luigi is the hybrid character in the sense that she has her own orbit, and like that's a whole other conversation to be had. And Waluigi is, if Peach is the center, the primary orbit creates anchor points of the spectrum of Peach likeness. And then the secondary orbit sort of widens that, becomes more detailed in the spectrum. If we start looking at the section that Roy is in, Waluigi is like kind of in that category of Girly Pop. Butch Queen down, definitely her own serve, but her proximity to like Wario and like other things kinds of makes Waluigi like a hybrid as well. Let's wrap this concept up with some anomalies, some more unclassified characters. This is the section where I would really like some input from y'all if you've made it this far and really engage with this like idea. The Donkey Kong universe is obviously part of the Mario universe, but I wonder if Donkey Kong itself is its own orbit. If it's fair to put Donkey Kong, Dixie Kong, Diddy Kong into the Peach orbit, because I feel like Donkey would be on the outer orbit. Diddy might be outer orbit as well, but Dixie might be secondary. Anytime I talk about Mario with my perspective or like the Girly Pop perspective, when we're like talking about it the way that we talk about it, Wario girlies do show up and they want Wario to be involved in the conversation, but I have to say, for me personally, I think Wario is a no. It's just a little bit too many fart jokes for me. I will give flowers to the fact, and I will acknowledge the fact that Wario girlies, I think, are just like, Wario as a character is just a chaotic neutral. Wario might not ever belong in an orbit because Wario, I feel like the girlies who main Wario will watch this video and they'll get the vibe, but they're like, that's not me, but I kind of want to be here, but I kind of want to be somewhere else. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, Wario is just chaotic like that. Wario is just all over the place, everything, everywhere, all at once. Tea. The Koopalings. These are kind of vague for me. It might be a blind spot in my understanding of the lore, but don't they all just feel like very queer-coded? Does that mean that they go into the Peach orbit? I don't know because I don't know them enough, if that makes sense. I just need generally more information on the Koopalings. So thank you all so much for watching the video. I hope that you understood what I was saying, and if you didn't understand what I was saying, then maybe it was just fun to listen to. Now, this orbit thing, if it like pops off, we could definitely do this for Amy, because I think Amy is like a similar character in regards to like how Peach is. Now, like Final Fantasy, I think is a little bit different. I don't think you could do a specific single orbit if we're talking about like girly pop diva orbits. There's a lot of different orbits in Final Fantasy. And if you're wondering why I didn't do this as a tier list, it's because Mario Kart World is coming out. Like, things are about to change and shake up, and it would be just like a waste of my time, my energy, your energy to do a whole tier list when a fresh release is like right around the corner. So I'll probably do one when the release comes out, because I'm really excited about that game and I'm gonna play the crap out of it probably, if it's good. If I play it on launch and it's like bad, then I'm just gonna be like whatever and like move on. I hope whatever you're up to next is gonna go by super well. Thank y'all so much for watching the video. I hope to see you next time. Bye.